Hi there, Kate Bora and Fiona Pearman, joining you for this week's live, where we continue the conversation around office politics and confidence. And I think the main place where we really want to start is that office politics creates a whole lot of uncertainty. And we know that clarity creates confidence, and a lack of clarity really weakens confidence.
I think there's a big piece here about understanding expectations. What are the role expectations? What's required to be successful? How are decisions made in this organization? And if that's slippery, if we don't know, then of course we're going to feel less confident and we're going to feel really unsure of ourselves, which leads into us not knowing our place or where the power comes from in this system. We don't know what's okay, we don't know what's not okay, and it feels as though the decisions I take or the way I act, that, I don't know if anyone's going to have my back, if I'm going to be supported here. We're constantly second guessing and worrying about what else might be going on because nothing is clear or transparent.
Yeah, and there's also a lack of clarity or certainty around, what is required in order to progress my career. What is valuable, what is recognized, what is rewarded. Some things might be rewarded at one point, and then, 2 months later, that's not valuable or seen as valuable by the organizational key stakeholders in the organization. And so this can be even more challenging, especially, if we're pushing hard, we're making a lot of compromise potentially in our personal life, working really, really hard in order to be able to achieve some of our career goals. Now, all of this lack of certainty, this lack of clarity triggers fear. Fear that we're not saying or doing the right things, fear that maybe we're not good enough, that we're the problem. And this is where the self-doubt or the what if spiral really kicks in. This, assuming that I'm the problem, rather than actually having awareness that there's this whole lot of invisible dynamics going on around you that actually you're not aware of. And that's really the reason why you're not sort of navigating things successfully or maybe ticking off or achieving the goals that you'd like.
Yeah, I think all of that, self-doubt, everything that's going on, it tends to breed a lot of overthinking. We start in the absence of having any clarity or not understanding how things are working, we start to fill in the blanks ourselves. And humans are really good at making up stories about what's happening. So we fill in the blanks with worst case scenarios, all sorts of almost conspiracy spirit theories about what's happening and what's going on. And this is a huge mental load. I think at the same time, when we can't see why certain people are being advanced or certain people's projects are getting the green light, if there's no knowledge or visibility about how that was done, we feel really left out. And that can feel really isolating. We feel sidelined. And being out of the loop just feels very undermining of our efficacy, of our agency. And so it again diminishes confidence. And I think the other piece here is we're so concerned about backlash, about the risk. We're worried that if we step in and we do participate in these office politics, well, potentially we're going to get that wrong. That might come back at us. We might be rejected. So because if an organization is very politically charged, we are worried so much about perception and our ideas of who has influence and power that we end up potentially misplacing our energy, our time, our focus because we're confused about what we need to do.
Yeah, all of that sounds exhausting, right? You're unsure if you should, unsure if you shouldn't, risky to play the politics, risky not to play the politics. It just feels like there's no good, safe, successful path through. And all of that, right, breeds resentment of things being unfair, being left out, frustration that despite, your time, energy, skill, capability, contribution, that maybe you're not being rewarded and recognized. It slows down decision making action. It creates a lot of, I'm going to suggest, passive or quieter leaders in an organization because maybe it's unsafe. to put your hand up or to put yourself out there for risk of being the sacrificial lamb, in an uncertain political environment. And all of that ultimately reduces psychological safety. And we know the research is there about the impact, organizations that have low psychological safety and teams that have low psychological safety, what that does to innovation, what it does to productivity, what it does to effectiveness in an organization.
Yeah, I think the bottom line is, if we let office politics thrive, if that's the dynamic, it really shakes and undermines the confidence of the individuals in the system. And navigating that environment just feels incredibly difficult. It feels unfair, there's a lack of transparency, and it does potentially feel unsafe. So a lot of cost to individuals, but you'd say to organisations as well, if we let this continue unchecked.
Yeah, I think a really good conversation for teams and leaders around organizations to start to have around, the role of politics in their organization, the cost to the organization, the cost to individuals, especially when we think about well-being and psychological safety. Team, we're going to leave it there. If you've enjoyed today's confidence conversation, we'd love to hear from you. And of course, if you know someone who would benefit from this conversation around office politics and confidence, we'd love for you to share that with them. If you'd like to see more of our confidence conversations and a whole lot of really cool series that we've been doing around system awareness and self-trust over the course of this year, head over to our YouTube channel. Literally hundreds of videos there that you can dig into, including over 50 of our clients sharing their acts of confidence transformation journeys. So be sure to check that out. And if and when you're ready to go deeper with your relationship with core confidence, visit our website, coreconfidence.com.au.